Hey everyone, Adam here, So Wizard Podcast, sitting down with Jay Red to talk about his comic Abducted. Jay, how you doing?
Good, Adam. How are you doing?
Doing good. Thanks for coming on. This kind of came together funny. You followed my comics Instagram page talking about your Kickstarter, and then we just kind of said, "Hey, let's get your Kickstarter out into the world."
Yeah. It's kind of how these things go over DMs and stuff. All these connections out here in the indie comics world. So it's pretty cool.
For sure, yeah. Well, I say get it out in the world, but your Kickstarter looks like it's doing pretty good, so that's awesome.
Yeah. We're really happy. It's over 200% funded right now. So yeah, we got 9 days left as of this recording. So yeah, pretty happy.
Very cool. But before we get there, I always like to ask creative people if you could go all the way back and like, what was your spark into making comics, and then what was that first step you did to like make it real?
Yeah. So for me, I mean, I grew up reading comics. I'd buy them at the grocery store when I was a kid when they had them back in grocery stores. A lot of Marvel stuff, X Men, Wolverine kind of stuff. Just read them my whole life, and then drawing was something that I was always really good at and really enjoyed. And so yeah, I kind of say in my early 20s, I kind of got into making my own comics at first, kind of just little short stories, 4 page, 5 page stories. Kind of posted them online just for friends to see, kind of like web comics, today. um, and then a few years later, I made a single issue comic here or there, a couple of those before Abducted. But Abducted was so it was originally as floppies, 5 issue comic book series, and that's really the first thing that we really put out into the world for people to see. So yeah.
Very cool. The ones you made before Abducted, did you just do those for like friends, or did you publish them and print them and get them out there?
I printed a few, but just like a handful, 5 or 6, just kind of for friends and stuff, and just to keep. Definitely nothing of this level as far as getting it out there. Didn't do conventions. Crowdfunding wasn't really around back then. So just a few here or there.
Yeah, I'm guessing, because I've kind of been through the ringer too on indie comics. It's not the easiest thing to do. Those first ones, even though you didn't push them as big as you are with Abducted, you probably like worked out a lot of the kinks in your process and the creating. I would guess.
Oh yeah, and even I mean, is drawing, lettering, getting things prepared for print, like get the cover, designed right, just all of that. You kind of learn that as you go. And so, yeah, it kind of worked out a lot of those, troubleshooting things, back then on those. So, when it came time to do Abducted, it was just, I'm not gonna say easy, but I knew the process, so it was a lot
Easier.
smoother. Yeah, never easy, but it was smoother.
In that those first initial attempts, what was the big standout thing that you're like, I didn't think this was going to be this difficult or take this long, or I didn't even think that I had to do this. What was that big pain thorn in your side?
I'd say, like back then, just my drawing style wasn't as advanced as it is now. So when I would see it printed, it was kind of spotty. There would be some things I'd be kind of proud of, and then some things I'm like, why did I do this? Why didn't I just spend an extra hour on this, and really get it right? So, when you see it in print, it's like you really see what you put into it in black and white, literally right there on the page. And so you just notice every little thing that you wish you did different.
Yeah. Do you find that even now, because Abducted, you said was a 5 issue series, did you find in issue 5 of it compared to issue 1, maybe not things that you felt you rushed or you didn't do right, but your skills are naturally going to improve just because you're using them?
Yeah. I mean, and I think that just happens on as you're going throughout your, artistic career. You get better over time. So yeah, I definitely noticed the art style, I would say, kind of changing, sort of finding its groove as it went along. So by issue 5, it's kind of fully realized as, this abducted style that I, created for this book. And so a lot of that was, the techniques that I'm using to draw it, getting more comfortable drawing the characters. getting more comfortable with different kinds of page layouts and things like that. So yeah, you can definitely see an evolution of style from the first to the last. I'm proud of the whole thing, but you can definitely, I would say it's fully realized form is in kind of the last half, issue probably 3, 4, and 5 of the book.
Yeah, that's a tough thing to get used to because you're pouring everything you can in every issue,
Yeah,
but it's just a natural progression of talent, which I guess is a good problem to have.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, you don't want to go the other way.
Right, exactly.
Actually,
Issue 5 looks
worse
like,
and worse.
that drawing of a horse that people use as a meme online.
Yeah, 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 for sure. Yeah. So, and
Someone's
I spent probably 3 years getting all the artwork finished. So we didn't really put a deadline on it. We originally made it as a web comic, and then we did it as a print comic, and now we're doing it as the graphic novel. And so, we took the time to put put the work into it that we needed without rushing ourselves. I worked with my friend Zach Herring. He scripted, and we co-plotted the book, and he kind of fleshed out the world. And we collaborated on pretty much every aspect, even down to the artwork and layouts, and just a lot of back and forth there. We hired an amazing colorist named Maya, and she just knocked it out of the park with colors. And yeah, so we ended up with a finished product that we're all just really happy with.
That's awesome. So you said you had a co-writer, but it sounds like it was kind of like a co-producer also, like in pretty much
But
every
yeah,
step.
I wouldn't say like I didn't really I wouldn't say I scripted much. So he and I kind of came up with the concept and came up with the plot together, and then he did the scripting, kind of the characters, flesh them out, the world building, the dialogue, things like that. And we'd all input on each other's work and make it collaborative. But yeah, that was his kind of domain for it. And then once that was finished, I'd kind of plan out the artwork, rough out the pages, figure out how many pages per issue, and just kind of work down to finished art. So it was pretty structured, and we had enough time to really make it how we wanted to. So
Right. So you didn't have like a the comic style or like a TV style script where it was panel one is this character saying this to this person. You just more had like a loose idea of where you're going. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, especially for this, I asked Zach if he would write that way without delineating panels, just because that's something I enjoy. I like taking a story and deciding how it will flow with panels, what events occur on one page as opposed to the page that's coming after it. So that's one of the storytelling aspects I really like to do. And so he was really helpful in letting me do that. So he would just kind of write it out like a prose story, like a short story or like a novel kind of format. And I just took that and kind of made it fit comic book storytelling. So that worked pretty well.
That's awesome. So you did the outlines and the drawing. Did you do like the inking as well, like drawing every step of the way?
Yeah, so I do. I would say line art would encompass it. So I started the first issue working traditional, pencil and ink on paper on bristle board, scan it in, clean it up, and then send it to our colorist. But as the project went on, I switched to working digitally on my iPad with the Procreate app. It's just the conveniences and the things that save you time are just so huge that I just fell in love with that. So I really work kind of from rough sketches to finished inks. I kind of skip the penciling step per se because when you're drawing digitally, even if it's with ink, you can always erase things or go back. So I just draw straight in the ink stage on top of my roughs, and that worked really well. And then I would add a like a gray tone layer with different brush effects, just to kind of give it some atmosphere and some depth. And so I would end up with, it would look like a gray wash kind of watercolor on top of comic book inks. And I would take that and send that to Maya, who would then color it and give it that next level.
She would build on your grayscales then?
Yeah, yeah. So the grayscales would remain, and it would serve kind of as a guide too for light sources and things like that. But once she lays the color in, it really makes it pop and gives it kind of a distinct look from a lot of comics, because it's kind of got more of a spooky, atmospheric, kind of mysterious vibe to it, which we really wanted for this story, just to kind of have the art match, the story being told.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then as far as the lettering goes, was that you as well?
Yeah, so I did the lettering, and yeah, we just do that in Adobe Illustrator.
Sorry.
um, Compile the whole book in Adobe InDesign, and then just get it ready for the printer. And then Zach and I would kind of go back and forth after like the first pass of lettering. He might notice, some dialogue he might want to change, or there's always every step you go, you can improve things and make little tweaks. So, we took advantage of all those opportunities.
Yeah, it never quite feels done, does it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can fill with it forever. So, um, yeah, I think we our first print run, we had all the issues finished, and we did a print run in late 2020, early 2021. Kind of sold those at local conventions and friends and family, and then sold out of those within a year or so. And then I thought this thing has a lot more mileage in it. I believe there's an audience that it hasn't reached yet, and so being able to do it in a graphic novel format let us include a lot of like the work that went into it as like bonus content. So a lot of sketches of like concept development, character sketches, page layouts, concept art. Yeah, we kind of filled up this huge bonus section in the back just to give everyone more bang for their buck. So it's turned out to be pretty cool. I've got a copy here. This is a proof copy. So, as you can see, it's pretty thick,
Yeah,
174 pages, I believe, and yeah, just a big story there. And then that's some of the bonus stuff in the back. So we're pretty proud of it.
that's awesome. And another really good thing, we could, I guess, move into Kickstarter. Another really good thing is the book's done. So when people Kickstart, it's not like 8 months to get what they paid for.
Exactly. Yeah. So pretty much as soon as the campaign's over, I'm gonna know, how many to print. I'm gonna know, you know, what the scope of this is, and I'm gonna get those things printed really quickly. So yeah, it won't be long after everyone backs that they'll get their books in their hands. So we're pretty happy about that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's huge. As far as Kickstarter, is this your first Kickstarter attempt?
So
Not with
this
just
is the
this book, but in
first.
general?
Well, so it's kind of like half and half. So this is the first one I'm running completely on my own under my own account. But I have partnered with collaborators in the past. So Zach, and then also my friend Billy Diamond Jr., who makes indie comics as well. We made an anthology book together, and then Billy and I made a single issue story together, and we funded those as Kickstarters. And I participated in a lot of the promotion for those, and trying to drum up interest and get backers and stuff like that. So it's the first one I'm technically running myself, but it's kind of my third at this point.
That's good because this it's a beast in itself. Just running Kickstarter, setting it all up, getting the word
Yeah,
out.
yeah. The promotion is that month long promotion period is you got to be ready for that because it'll kick your butt if you let it. So yeah, once this thing's done, I'm gonna take a long nap.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. Yeah, but it's like we said right at the top. It's going great. I mean, you're 200% funded, which is also good for people to see who want to check out your book because it's not 20% funded with 9 days to go, and they're like, well, if I buy it, am I going to get it?
Right, exactly. Yeah, no. So we funded 100% in I think 26 hours, and then I'd say within maybe 10 or 11 days, yeah, we got to 200%. So people seem pretty excited for it, which just is really encouraging to us. So I'm thrilled, and yeah, that's a huge load off. So at this point, it's just about trying to take it as far as I can because I really just want this to reach the biggest audience I can find for it. So yeah, pretty happy about that.
That's awesome. Yeah. Do you want to talk about some of your tiers?
Yeah, so we have a digital tier that's the PDF of Abducted, and then we have a tier that is, and I think that starts at $8. We have another tier that has a PDF of Abducted and that comic, The Body, I spoke about earlier, that I made with Billy Diamond Jr., and another anthology comic called Superposition. We've got two issues of that. So we've got some digital tiers, and then we have physical tiers. I think they'll start at $25, and that would be, the Abducted graphic novel, and then there's other print copies of The Body and Superposition available, and then it goes on up to where we're actually partnering with lesser known comics, and they have a really cool catalog of indie comics all on their own, and so we're partnering with them, and so people can pledge for those tiers and get, their entire catalog, or you can just do them as add-ons and just pick, what you want. So there's a whole lot of comics available on this campaign, beyond just Abducted. So it's there's a lot here for people to check out. So yeah, I just encourage everybody to look at the campaign, check out all the rewards, because there's something for everybody here.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's always a tough thing picking what rewards how much to go, like to go too far, but you didn't go far enough. You need some of the bigger ticket items without going crazy. So it's really cool that just in your third you've more or less cracked it enough. I don't want to say
Yeah,
cracked the
yeah.
code of Kickstarter because that seems like impossible, but
Yeah, there's some things that people do that I haven't ventured into yet, like variant covers, stuff like that. I've never messed with that. I may do that on like a future project, but for this one, I knew, I need to keep it focused and, just stick to the book as is, and try to get it out there. So um, some of those other kind of things that I didn't do this time around, I may do on future projects.
yeah, it's fun to think of those things. But like you said, you have to keep it focused, keep it grounded. Get the material, the book itself is first and foremost.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, focused on that, and then of course there's all those incentives. There's extra books, there's PDFs, there's other, comics and graphic novels. So I think, the tiers range from, I think, $8 on up to $150. So like I said, people get on there. There's something in there for everybody. So yeah, I hope everybody checks it out.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Jay, I mean, it's cool that you reached out. It's cool that we were able to make this happen. So, I'd say I wish you the best of luck, and I do, but it doesn't seem like you need it.
Hey, yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, and if we get some more luck, I'll even take that. So.
Yeah, there you go. Awesome. Well, the question that creatives hate, but I have to ask it. Uh, what's next?
So I'm working on sort of a creator, one man show kind of book next, and it's sort of a throwback to like early and mid '90s Marvel comics, kind of more superhero based, which I haven't really done yet. And you can see some art from that on my Instagram, which is JAY_RED_art. So J Red Art with underscores between. And that'll be my next book. I'm going to do that as single issues, probably 5 issues, kind of kickstart each one. Can't I don't want to divulge too much about it right now, but there is some
For
art
sure.
that you can check out on the Instagram for that. I'm pretty excited about it. So that's what's next for me.
Very cool. Well, Jay, thanks again for coming on. We're going to get this up as soon as possible because I know you still have a little bit of time left in your campaign, so we can get more eyes on it.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Adam. Yeah, this has been great. Thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And reach out for the next one. We'll do it again.
Definitely, we'll do. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you. I'd like to thank Jay one more time for taking time out of his busy life to come on and talk to us about creating comics, writing comics, this whole process, and of course, Abducted, which there's still time to get on it on Kickstarter right now. Not too much time left as of this posting, unfortunately, but there's still time. So jump on it. And if you're watching this after the fact, I believe Kickstarter still lets you get comics, but check them out. Look them up on social media. The comic looks awesome. Kickstarter has a cool video at the top of the page to get more info on it. Please make sure you like and subscribe. We got a lot more interviews, new movie coverage, screener coverage, movie reviews, recommendations, all the stuff you love coming your way. You're not going to want to miss out. Also, make sure you listen to So Wizard Podcast every single week, wherever you get your podcasts. SoWizardPodcast.com is your resource for reviews, recommendations, videos, merchandise, and more. We love hearing feedback, so drop us a note in the comments, leave us something on social media. All the accounts will be found after the show and in the show notes. So Wizard Podcast can also be found on Patreon, where for as little as $1 a month, you get multiple monthly bonus shows, audio and video. And on a more personal note, a good friend and I have our own comic. It's a comedy series about a group of friends navigating all the perils and pitfalls and drama of high school. We write it like a sitcom, and we do it in the vein of the 90s cartoons that we grew up on, love, and inspired us. Bunch of issues available now at socialstudiescomic.com. We got some on Comixology, some on Global Comics, more coming across the board, new stuff coming. We're always working on it. So check it out. Thanks.